Mickey Films.
It's your boy Mickey Films here to do another review on the Zcam E2S6 as well as the Zhiyun Crane 3 Lab, which I am currently using as my current gimbal on my Zcam. So a little review, a little bit about both, and give you guys a little bit of details and more or less what I had to go through in my build. So here's the cam. I'll bring it up a little closer. Unfortunately, I'm using my Canon 6D to shoot this, so I have a 50mm set lens, so I can't zoom in and zoom out. So therefore, I had to bring it up closer just so you guys can see what I'm working with. Let me make sure this is locked. Yeah, so here we go. I have right now I have a Canon 18. I believe this is 24 to 105 millimeter lens, so it's pretty heavy, pretty big lens. I am using the Portkeys BM5 monitor. I do have the Rode mic right on the bottom. So this is kind of my setup right now that I'm working with. I had to get counterweights because it was just too front heavy for the gimbal with the zoom focus and the follow focus motors. Just make the lens way too much too heavy. I did get a C-Fast car just to try to, I did spend more money just because I didn't want to add more weight to the Zcam. So I paid what, about 500 bucks for I would think 500 gigs. So I mean, yeah, it costs more, but it is easier than having to attach a portable drive to the camera. I already have plenty of things attached here. I don't need any more things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unmount and just basically more or less show you guys my process. Okay, here we go. All right, so here we have just the crane. So this is the crane 3 Lab. Oh my God, it feels so light compared to when I had all this stuff on there. Makes me kind of want to just go back and put my DSLR on it. But I bought the cinematic camera, which is a Zcam, and find out once I put it on here that it was just way too heavy. So I did have to get the counterweights, which were here. Initially I only purchased 2. That wasn't enough, so I had to get 2 more, so a total of 4, 200 grams each. So total 2, 4, 6, 800 grams of extra weight that I'm adding on the gimbal, which probably not the best thing for the motors. So far they've been holding up well. I had this Crane 3 Lab maybe for about a year now, and I did have issues with it. I never ever what do you call it, put a heavy camera on it. I always had a Canon 6D, which is not super heavy. The lens I had was the 24 to 105, so that was a little bit heavy. But other than that, it was okay. And then I had plenty of issues with the mount here. One of them got damaged. Long story short, I sent the Crane 3 back to Zhiyun twice because they resent it to me, but then I had an issue where I could not get the camera controls to work. So the initial issue was the HDMI. I was not getting an output on my phone or on a monitor. So they fixed that issue, sent it back to me. The camera control wasn't working. So once that happened, sent it back to them. They repaired that. So far I got it back around Christmas. So I had it back for a few months now, and it's been great. So yeah, hopefully, you know, it sticks through. But let me just show you some things that I did add to it. I did buy this from Small Rig here, if I could. Well, I have it on there tight. I'm not gonna unscrew it, but I'll zoom in. If you see here, this is I bought this here. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is a Small Rig, like an adapter basically, so you could, you know, I have options to, if I wanted to maybe put my headphone, put my mic there, or any other accessory that I can. So I'll have that there. So let me put this back on. Usually I put it in the front, in the middle.
Daddy!
Yes?
Daddy, the TV over there turned off. When I was going to play Fortnite, it came off.
Oh, okay, I'll go check in a little bit. Okay, I'm doing something right now. I'm doing a video.
What?
I'm doing a video right now for YouTube.
What are you doing?
Say hi to YouTube on the camera. You don't want to?
Why? Then why are you doing that then?
I'm doing a review on the camera.
Why?
So people all know what to buy and what not to buy. Because, you know, when you make films,
Yeah.
and you are into cameras,
Yeah.
sometimes you buy things that you don't need. So hopefully this video
Yeah.
will help the next person
Yeah.
make sure they buy the correct things.
Oh.
Or things that they may need or may not need, they won't buy it.
No buy it?
Yeah, if they don't need it, they shouldn't buy it. So with this video, they'll see maybe, hey, maybe I need this weight. Maybe I need this battery. So we'll see what they need, and hopefully this video can help them. So, yeah.
You might need this.
Yeah, so the counterweights.
I could get what?
Counterweights.
Weights?
Pretty heavy?
Like this.
Oh yeah, you can work out with those, huh?
Yes. I could carry.
Give me a hug.
Daddy,
I love you.
I love you.
Alright, so let me get to it. I gotta finish up here.
Can I use one then?
Yeah, but I need here. These are not for you to work out. I know they look like weights, but be careful here. Don't step on these things here. All right, so now what I have to do, if you want, you can come over here and you go watch. Sit right here.
Wow.
So now what I have to do,
Here.
what I have to do now is I'm gonna put everything back together so you guys could, you know, get a visual, more or less.
Everything back together, you're done.
Yeah. So let's do that now.
Out. After putting back together, you're done.
Yes.
After putting back together.
So, oh yeah, so one more thing I forgot to mention on the Z-Cam. Well, on the actual crane, it comes with its own holder for the camera, which is pretty small. So I purchased this one, which is a much bigger one and more heavy duty. It actually has the screws in the back that allows me to add the counterweights. I purchased this from Small Rig as well. You could just put in plate, when you do the search, put in a plate for Zhiyun Crane 3 Lab and it'll come up. It even has it here actually, Zhiyun Crane 3 on the markings. So yeah, this did actually allow me to add the counterweights first of all, and it's much longer and a little bit more durable, so it supports the weight a lot better. So let's put that back on here. We're gonna put that baby on there. the zoom and the focus. Let me bring my camera up a little bit just so you guys can see me a little better. All right, should be a little better. All right, so as far as the zoom and the focus controllers, it's pretty easy to install. There's plenty of videos. Josh from Momentum, he's pretty good. Actually, that's where I learned how to put my motors back in. So give credit where it's due. Josh from Momentum, he do his thing. So yeah, you can watch his videos on how to install these belts, but it's pretty easy. They just wrap them around and clip them in. It's just how it sounds. Then the zoom, they screw in to the actual mount. They come with their cables, each one letting you know what it is. So this one will let you know. Well, they actually just tells you, they don't actually show you, but on the actual zoom, it'll let you know. For example, this one will show me that it's the follow focus, so I know where to put it in. And this one is the zoom. So we'll put this one in the zoom. Then we'll put this one in the follow focus. All right, so I got the zoom and I got the focus in. Next, right now I'm using a, what is it, MP750 battery. Sony makes these. You can buy them on Amazon, B&H, 20, 30 bucks. They're pretty cheap, maybe even $15, $20. Initially, I did purchase this battery pack on Amazon, and the reason why I bought this one, which you can see size difference is much bigger. But I purchased it because it gives you a DC output here, and my plan was to run the plug in here from here into the Portkeys monitor. But what I learned was when I put this battery in, it was overlapping and hitting the back of the crane. So it was just too big of a battery to try to operate on the crane. So I opted out with a MP750. I have maybe like 4 of these. That way, you know, once 2 of them run out, put them to charge, and I have 2 more for my shoot. So let's put this in here. That clips right into the back of the Z-cam. Here goes the SD card. Let me eject it because I have it in my computer right now. Okay, let's see. All right, so here we go. Well, I know earlier I said it was a 500 gig, but it's actually a 512 gigabyte CFast card, and this is made by Angel Bird. It's pretty hard to see with the zoom, with the focus, but yeah, it's pretty standard. Angel Birds, they say, are the, you know, most what they recommend. So yeah, let's put this in here. So that just slides right in. Close the little door. And that's good to go. Okay, next here I have this cable here which I'm going to connect to my BM5 to connect to the camera. This is basically the camera remote. I'm just going to attach to the camera for now. I won't put this on yet. Let's put this to the side. Next, I'm gonna add the weights back on. So here we go. Added the counterweights. I'll tell you now, without the counterweights, I would not be able to balance this gimbal. I tried it. The guys at B&H, I took it there. Great guys there. They tried it eventually. We only option was to get 2 more extra counterweights from the 2 that I already had. So yeah, let's put this here. This is pretty much not balanced because I have a carpet on the floor. So it will be a good idea to move this off the carpet so that we could do a good balancing job. And I could more than likely show you guys what I do with that. Alright, so okay, here we have the gimbal. Let me bring the camera back a little bit. Alright, so let's get ready with the balancing. So if I was to show you right now, this thing, if I unlock it, it's probably gonna go straight up. Let me unlock. Oh, you know what? I actually put the weights in the wrong place. Should have put the weights in the front hole, not the back hole. That way I have a little bit more slack in the back. Okay. No, actually I was fine. You could actually stay in the back. Just had to move the camera up. Alright, so I'm gonna move the camera up. We're gonna unlock this. So right now I just unlocked the side on, which is on this side. So right there you can see it's pretty much on an even keel, so it's pretty well balanced. Once I lock it, I'm going to show you how much I put it up on this side. So let me just lock this in. Yeah, that's secure. Let me remove this antenna. I'm only going to need this. I'm going to put this to the side for Wi-Fi, which I'm not going to be using on the camera. So now she kind of threw my balance off just by taking off the antenna. So let me unlatch this and maybe just go back. That should do it. So we're gonna lock this back in. All right, that's in there. Let me lock this up just so I can show you the other side. All right, so I'm gonna flip it around just so you can see what I'm working with on this side. So as you can see, maybe I should bring it a little bit closer. I had to put the arm maybe 3.5 inches up so that it could be balanced properly, because if you have it too low, it's gonna have a lot of weight and a lot of pressure on this motor right over here. So Now what I'm gonna do is try to balance it upright on the same motor. So let's see how that works out. Let me just flip this back around this way. Makes it a little bit easier. Unlock the motor. And now it should stand straight, perfect. So it's perfectly balanced. It's straight line. So now I know that I have a straight there. And move it slowly. It's still balanced. It's still balanced. So pretty well balanced there. Now we're gonna go with the pan, and well, you know what, guys, total fail. Let me lock everything back up, because one thing that I forgot to do is before we even start to balance, we have to make sure that everything is plugged in, because any additional weight will affect the balancing. So let me do that now first. Move this back over here. Alright, so I have this here. This is also a small rig arm, a little extender, which I also got well, I actually got this one from B&H, but small rig makes it. It's about 30-40 bucks, but it's better than the actual arm, which I also have, that the Z crane has for the phone. But I'm not gonna be using the phone because the image quality, well, the video quality on the phone has a little bit of a lag. So I'm not gonna go that route, because I like, when I'm recording, I like to have a clear visual with no lag. So great thing about this is that it mounts the same location where you will mount the phone mount. So let me mount that on there. Make sure the grooves lined up somewhat before I lock it in, just so it don't get damaged. Okay, that's pretty much set in stone. There we go. I like it for it to be nice and sturdy. Alright, so next I'm gonna, well, my mic, I'm using a Rode mic, and the issue is that it wasn't long enough. The Z-Cam port for the microphone is on this side of the camera. So where I have my port set up, well, I have my mic set up, it's right down here. I mean, I could always put it on this side, but it's just easier to put it on here. But the issue is it doesn't reach the other side of the camera. So for that, I bought this extender, about $5, and it just allows me to input my, I think it's a 3.5 millimeter they call it. I input it in here, and then the other piece will go into the camera. So I don't have all the specific terms. Like, I'm not an expert, but like I said, I'm making this video so you know, the average filmmaker or someone who wants to get into filming and maybe wants to upgrade from a DSLR to a cinematic camera, and you know, just certain things that might help you along the way. So let me put this back in here. This time I'm not gonna put it so tight where I needed pliers to take the damn thing off. Let's see. You know what it is? I just don't have enough slack. I need to screw this part in. Here we go. Okay. Put this in. Then what I gotta do is screw that part Okay, there we go. That's nice and tight. I'm gonna run this through the bottom and plug it into my jack. You know what? Run it through the top and plug this into my jack, headphone jack. I'm sorry, not headphone jack, microphone jack. All right, so that goes in there. Beautiful. Now it's time for the monitor. So like I said before, for the monitor, I have the Portkeys BM5. I am using a small little skinny battery. What is this? MPF 550. Reason being because I wanted to add less weight to the actual setup, because this whole Crane 3 lab, it's a little bit heavy, especially with this big lens. Eventually I might want to get a cinematic lens with less weight, and you know, that should help with the motors on the gimbal. Crane with Zhiyun just came out with a Crane 3S, and that one gives you a better payload. I think right now I have about 10 pounds payload. That one gives you about 15. So I'm looking into buying that one, but I will need to find a buyer for this one first. But this thing is working perfectly great for now, so you know, you gotta work with what you got. So let me put this battery back in. It's a little tricky. All right, here we go. Just want to make sure you line it up perfectly to the prongs. I'll get this cleaned up a little bit later. All right, so then here you have the camera remote on the BM5 in the bottom. Also have the USB to do any updates, firmware, which already came updated. I checked the firmware when I got it. But yeah, it did come with a USB stick. You can put it right in there. Let me plug this in. Alright, so I got my monitor in. So this cable here goes right into the back where it says remote, and this will allow you to operate your Z-Cam via your Portkeys monitor. Plug that right in. Oh, we're getting some hard rain right now. Beautiful. Okay, next I'm gonna get my HDMI, which is right over here. So this is the main issue here that I've been having. As far as I like to use the follow mode on the Z-Cam, on the Crane 3 Lab, because it gives you nice good motions as far as following your subject if you're filming someone directly. The pan follow really don't use much. I use the lock mode if I have the Zhiyun Crane 3 on a tripod and I do a lot of comedy shows filming. So something like that, I would put it on lock mode and I would manually use the joystick to get my pan movements from left to right. But when I'm running and gunning, it's the follow mode. And I usually use, if you look here in the back, it has a go button. And that go button allows you to get more control of the actual gimbal. It almost tightens up. I can compare it to you driving a car and you're taking a curve and the suspension tightens up and makes it very sturdy. Well, just what this go button does. So it definitely helps. Put this cable in. Now the thing about this cable is that it sometimes messes with the mobility when I am on the follow mode, because it is big. Maybe I'm gonna look into buying a shorter. I think this is what, this has to be maybe 3 feet. Maybe give me a shorter one. What I do like about these HDMI cables is that they do fold, so I'm able to manipulate the angles. I also got this from B&H, maybe 10-15 bucks. So not a bad buy. All right, so the HDMI goes to the top of the Z-can. The other end onto the Portkeys monitor. Okay, that's in there pretty well. And like I said, you can rotate this around. Usually leave this part flat and leave this there. You can lie around this way. All right, so this is my setup. Everything's back on. Well, you know what? Let me try to balance it before I even do anything else. Because now I have all my cables attached. So the balancing should be a little bit easier. Let me make this. You know what? I think I'm gonna plug it the other opposite way. Make this. All I did was just switch the HDMI around. Okay, this way it feels a little bit more stiffer. Because I don't want the HDMI to be manipulating my movements, which sometimes it does happen because they are pretty heavy and thick. My ideal HDMI will be something robust and sleek and maneuverable. Still looking for that, so we'll see whenever that comes out. Okay, a little bit dusty. Had it sitting for a while. The Z-can does have the ND filter, which like I said, I'm not the most seasoned filmmaker, so I'm not up to that where I need to use the ND filter. Any of my color grading, I feel makes it look pretty good in the videos. You know, eventually maybe I will get into ND filters, but I'm not there yet. But yeah, so far I like the setup. The Portkeys monitor been good, very responsive. Also the Crane 3 Lab, the zoom and the follow, and the zoom mount work very good. So I'm gonna balance it and we'll run it back up and see what we got. Okay, so let me unlock this right here. So look how high I went up just because of this cable here. So the HDMI is bringing the weight down. I'm gonna try to adjust that some way. All right, so I'm gonna need this. Unlock this here. And let me move this over here. And maybe just back it up a tad bit. Now the key to balancing is incremental, very small movements when you're trying to balance, and it goes a long way. And if you have one of these, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that looks pretty balanced. So I'm gonna lock it up. All right, check the other. Okay, that's pretty good. And then the third lock mechanism is in the bottom. All right, that's great. So we have it. Everything is, so you can see, all the motors are unlocked. Pretty well balanced. I'm gonna turn on the Crane 3. So you'll see once it turns on, it'll just maneuver into perfect position. I'm gonna turn my Z-cam on and my Portkeys monitor on. And I'm gonna turn this around, that way you guys can see more or less what I'm seeing. Okay, so the camera, you can see I have it on the lock mode right now, so I'm able to maneuver the camera. This cable gets in the way sometimes. So what happens is I will have to maybe my monitor tilt it a little bit down. That way it doesn't get in the way of the wires from the zoom and the focus, but it works pretty good. You can see it's pretty maneuverable. I could go down, could go up. The counterweights really help it a lot. So let me bring this up here. Maybe I'll bring this down a little bit. I want to show you guys the zoom feature. So you can see as I am going, you can actually see let me move this over. You can actually see the lens opening up, and that's me using the zoom little analog, which is right over here. I'll bring this back in. All you have to do is wheel it in. It works very responsive. Then right on top of my joystick, right behind, I have my focus. So that's pretty easy. You just press down, you look into your monitor until you find the nice focus that you want. So let me just show you the mobility. Let me put this on recenter it first. I'm gonna put it on follow mode. And now I am on follow mode. And as you can see, it pans very well. Goes up, down. So I have pretty good field. It's pretty heavy, it's a bit heavy. So when you're out on the field, you know, something to think about. So other than that, it's a pretty good setup. So if you have any questions or any concerns, you can just shoot me a comment, and please subscribe to the page, Mickey Films.